Welcome, folks. We are GrownAGeeks, and today is a special episode of FANCAST IT. In honor of Black History Month, we decided we were going to take 5 heroes from all forms of media and bring them to a FANCAST IT session. Who would we want to play these characters in a live-action setting? Join us as we do our Black History special, FANCAST IT. Welcome. We are GrownAGeeks. We're going to be doing our Black History Month FANCAST IT. We'll have somebody joining us here in just a moment. But joining me currently for our very special Black History FANCAST IT, we've got insert cool nickname, Miss Brandy. How you doing, Miss Brandy?
Hello, how are you guys?
Doing good, doing good. We are going to bring to the stage. See, it didn't even update. You did all that.
Holy
you still.
Shit, I forgot we were still alive. I completely forgot we were still alive. See, that's what happens.
It's all good. Our couch potato, Mr. RG Cashmere. What's going on, man?
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Wonderful, wonderful. Good. Joining me as always, my man Jeffrey JPNT17. What's up, Jeff?
What's up?
And I am Elder Geek Sam. Now, the rules for this FANCAST IT were a little bit different. We actually kind of opened it up so that we didn't have all the same limitations we normally have. Usually we'll pick a specific group and say, okay, here's the characters. Everybody pick who you would want to be in this cast. Today, I thought it'd be a little bit more interesting if we opened it up. It's Black History Month. Any one of the Black heroes, Black superheroes, Black comic heroes, Black movie heroes, any Black heroes that you wanted to bring, it was open, it was fair game. And who would you want to see play that person in a live action? It can be, feature film. If you have a whole idea mapped out, cool. If it's something that's already coming, we'll talk about that. If it's something that you want to see come, that's how it'll be. For what it's worth, everybody that I have casted has not been on screen in live action, and I just think these are some people that might deserve a shot. So we're going to start with RG because he missed out on our last FANCAST IT, and I want to give him a little bit of time to showcase some of his ideas and thoughts. I know he did say that he had one of the people you had was one of the X-Men. That was who we did our last FANCAST IT, and Storm was one of the main players that we've discussed at length at this point. And you're not on board. You have a different idea, so I'm curious.
Yes, different idea. I'm not going to say I'm not on board. Jodie's a great pick. She's a great pick. I have no problem if I saw her on screen playing Storm.
Get him off your RG.
You don't want to jump.
Not
want to be different.
It's different. I'm not on board. I'm just saying it's just we brainstorming here. We brainstorming.
Okay. So talk to me. What do you got? Let's hear some of your ideas. I'm curious.
I ran into some fan art of DeWanda Wise as Storm. Now I gotta be honest. I can't even remember what she was in.
She was in Rampage, and she was in the She's Gotta Have It TV show on Netflix.
That's it. The one on Netflix. Okay. So this look is a very, very. She looks like an action figure. I'm sorry, that would. It's an awesome visual. She's a good actress. You know what I'm saying? So that was just my first, my first FANCAST IT. It was different. I feel she has the chops for it. Obviously, I wouldn't even protest if Jodie gets it. I have zero issue with, her getting it. That's a great pick. That's why many of y'all picked it. So
right. I mean, honestly, I've seen a lot of buzz, for lack of a better phrase, around DeWanda Wise, and a lot of what I see seems to be it's that early rumor mills, oh, she's the front runner to play, and it's are they having those? Obviously they got to be having some.
Conversation. I don't know. I'm probably going with this is fan art, right?
Yeah.
This isn't a concept. from some studio. This is somebody
No.
else who thought she
I
would be
get that.
good. So I don't know. Is she in the running? Does she even
It's
stand
definitely
a
a good look. Like, I will say that just looking at the visual here, sure.
And I mean a younger Storm, right? Like if we're talking about 18, 16, 16. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we're watching that. I don't know. This opportunity, I don't know if I can write the story right now for her. I'm just doing a strictly off of visual. I liked the fan art. I thought, okay, I could see her playing Storm as well. So
Okay. That works.
Just setting it up for
I'm with that.
a little controversy, to mix it, to think a little bit.
Just to make it mixed up for options. Like, I'm not mad if she gets a casting call. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
All right. Then my next one was Bishop Kofi Cerebo. Isn't he from Brown Sugar?
Queen Sugar.
Queen Sugar. I loved him in that show, man. He was awesome, and I could see, he has the build for it. He has the face for it. I was thinking, put a wig on him, give him dreads, something like that, And I like him as an actor, so I felt like he would play a good Bishop. That's two. The next one, this is an emotional pick. I really want this dude in the Marvel universe.
Okay.
Hold on, can you see it? I want Lakeith Stanfield in the Marvel universe. So I have him as Blue Marvel, right? I'd like him to play Blue Marvel. I think initially I was thinking Idris, but I was thinking just for the white hair at the top and things like that. But I'm like, you can give this guy some gray hair at the top. I loved him in the Netflix show that he was in. He's got the chops.
Harder They Fall.
Thank you. Harder They Fall. Blue Marvel is a very complex character. He's funny. Ever since I remember the comic, and Sam, you might remember, or Jeff, you might remember, when I think he was intimidating Doom in the comic. He was like having a conversation back and forth with him and just like talking like big shit. And I'm like, he technically could be the most powerful person in the MCU as a character. He would definitely be more powerful than Carol Danvers, and we can kind of get her out the way because obviously it's sorry, Brie, but it just lost the goodwill. So let's move to the next Marvel and let's make them blue. All right, and then my fourth one was in the Netflix show, The British Heroes, and Tosin Cole. And I want to see him play Static. I would like a Static movie, and I think he would be really, really good for Static.
Tosin Cole.
He's definitely proved he can act, and I believe he has, you know what I'm saying? He gives off Static vibes. I can see him being a good kid, but coming from a bumpy area, dealing with certain things, and then all of a sudden having to deal with these new superpowers.
Supercell. Okay.
That's the name. I was sitting here, I could not think of the name.
Yeah, that's what I had to look up. I knew who you were talking about, but I could not.
He's going to be in Children of Blood and Bone too.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, very good. Well, get him another check. Put him in the Marvel. Put him in the DC universe. He can use 10 million. So get my man. This is number 5. This dude, I really want to see him back. I need Orlando Jones to be back. He murdered. I stopped watching American Gods after they let him go. Like I ain't even.
Where do you have Orlando Jones?
Dr. Voodoo.
Okay.
I would love to see him play Dr. Voodoo. Have him in the Strange universe. You already got an opening because they had that last scene with Clea. What's her name? The white girl
actress.
Yeah, the actress.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So you can have her still, retain that role, but then at the same time, put Voodoo in. It makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. There was a time he was. Did he have it at one time? So do you remember, Sam? Was he Sorcerer Supreme at one time?
Dr. Voodoo has been Sorcerer Supreme.
Okay, that's what I thought. So There you go. That's number 5, man. I really want to,
Brother
free
Vixen.
Orlando Jones. Okay, free Orlando Jones. Let's get him back in front of the camera. That's my 5.
That is. I don't really have. I don't have any complaints with those picks. I think those are very unique picks. I like the casting. I would need to see how you flesh out the idea of the Static movie, but because I don't see that as like he's not going to be young Virgil in high school Static. He is clearly like well established, older Justice League Static.
What?
Yeah.
You really saying Tosin looks that old?
He get girls. Like, let's keep it a buck.
Yeah,
you're not selling me on this kid being unsure of himself in any high school at this point. Like,
I'm sure Hollywood can, make him a little awkward. We've had enough ugly duckling movies.
It's just, I guess my only
They're gonna
concern
have
is
to
like
Steve
even from
Urkel
the
him.
standpoint of the show, like even looking at him in Supercell, like he was still like a little older, a little more established, and that's not to say that it won't work with him being Static, but it won't be Static Shock. It would be Static. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But there you go, Static. Right? Exactly.
and so
that's
what I was saying. I was just curious if you were okay, but even so, I don't dislike the choice. And it would just be a matter of maybe we are looking at an older, like he plays the older version and we go into a flashback of how he started and work it out that way. But we're not writing a movie here. We're just doing the casting. So I'm with you.
There you go.
We'll figure out the rest of it later.
There you go.
All right, cool. Jeff, is your list ready? You want to go ahead and hop in there next, or?
Sure, my list is ready. I had 2 characters overlapping with RG, so
okay.
We'll have some competing casting going on there, but I'll just go down my list as I made it. My first character, I went with the first 3 characters. I went with the Milestone / DC Milestone universe because, in my opinion, it's about damn time. Like, we've gotten 4 or 5 chances at the DCEU, EU, PU is all we've gotten out of it. So
the DCEU,
I don't want to wait no more on them to figure it out. Just start Milestone, and starting off, I picked Icon, and I picked an actor who's gone through some things, was just fired from a major role at another studio in another cinematic universe, but I think Jonathan Majors would make a great Icon. He has a civil rights face, and he's got the build and the physique to pull it off. And
you know what?
Whoa! I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
I love it.
He was in Lovecraft Country. I'm sure that was part of the reason why he was cast in Lovecraft Country. He has
absolutely
distinct African American features, and I think he would pull off at least the visuals of that role really, really well. And then considering that he's like a Black Republican, he's kind of like on the outskirts of everybody else. I think just his personal life experience right now would probably be able to have him bring a lot to this role. So I'm casting Jonathan Majors for a multitude of reasons. Next, I went with Static, and I picked someone. Y'all know me. I'm all about like young and up and coming, and I'm always looking at Disney Channel shows and stuff. And I'm casting. His name is Israel Johnson. He's from the show Bunked, which is like a show about like a summer camp. But if you see pictures of him like super young, he's like young and scrawny, but he's kind of in his like half pubescent phase now, and he's hit that jawline is starting to square out a little bit, and I think he would definitely look good with a Malcolm X cap on. So I'm definitely going a little bit younger. Definitely, y'all know me. High school is like where it's at in terms of making movies for me. So definitely going with one a more high school feel for Static.
What's his name?
His name's Israel Johnson, and he has the
Aw.
comedic
Aw, he's so
aspect
cute.
that I think he can bring to the role too, because I feel like Static is one of those characters. He's like, in my opinion,
I
like
see what you mean
DC
when him
Spider-Man.
growing up.
Yeah,
The first
Yes.
couple pictures, he looks like a little boy. That's why I was like,
yeah,
oh. And
yeah,
now I see like he probably about
yeah,
14.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
see what you mean.
I think he has the comedic timing to definitely do the like in fight quipping that you need. Um, I picked Rocket next, and for Rocket, I mean, I came with the heavy hitter because if she's gonna be next to Jonathan Major, we need somebody who's proven. So I went with Marseille Martin. I feel like she's super talented. She's got enough like sass. If it was 10 years ago, I probably would pick a Kiki Palmer for this role, but I think
Right.
Marseille has like that element, that edge to her that's gonna be able to be that kind of sidekick slash foil for Icon. I think they will be able to have like a good relationship. Next,
Okay.
I went with another DC character, Black Lightning, because I feel like if we like if we don't do it now, we can't wait for them to figure the white people out. With Black Lightning, I went with another character, another actor who was, in my opinion, mistreated by the fine people over at Disney, John Boyega. I think that he
That's
would be, he's got a very good and believable American accent, first of all. Action, I mean, there's nothing that needs to be said about that. And I think that in listening to him speak outside of the cameras and in interviews, I think he would understand the like importance and gravitas of like playing that role and be able to bring that to Jefferson slash Black Lightning. And he's getting older, and so he would be able to kind of grow up with the character. And you know, we don't have to start like middle-aged washed up Black Lightning like on the TV show. We could actually like go along the full journey of
Okay.
how Black Lightning becomes Black Lightning. My final character was Bishop. This might seem wild when I say it, but I picked Jamie Foxx. Now, Jamie Foxx is my favorite actor. I know on usually like they like to try to go African with Bishop for some reason, which I don't get. Like when you look at him, how he's
What?
traditionally drawn in the early comics, he's not that. He's a black man basically with a Jerry curl.
right.
Bro,
Sam, feel free when you edit to insert picture of Jamie Foxx with a
With a
Jerry curl when he
Jericho.
was in high school. But I think that the role, in my opinion, of what that Bishop has always played has been somebody who can like walk into the room of X-Men as an outsider, but not have this feeling of like I'm bowing down to you guys. I'm unsure of myself. Because he's from the future, he knows what's happening. You know, if we look at the people who we cast in our X-Men fan casted, we got to have somebody playing Bishop that's going to walk in and be able to like command the room, command scenes against some of those people.
Yeah.
I think he can do the like gravelly. I mean, he can, in my opinion, Jimmy Foxx can pretty much do anything when it
he can
comes to
act.
acting,
Yeah,
as
he
long
can
as
act.
they give him a good script. And I just feel like in the action roles, some of the action roles that he's gotten, some of the scripts have been subpar. I mean, turn him to like an amorphous electric blob in Amazing Spider-Man 2 was like, you know, they kind of made up for it in No Way Home a little bit. But I think if he could bring some of that grit and gravitas to Bishop, the time traveler, I would enjoy seeing something like that personally.
Disclaimer to the people. Listen, mine is not like theirs. Okay. And so okay. All right.
Good.
So I did Storm. And of course, I said Angela Bassett because if anybody could play Storm, it's Angela Bassett.
She was
And
supposed to.
I'm
Absolutely.
It was.
sad that I will never get to see that. The closest that
Oh,
I get is the Black Panthers. Now, this is a long shot. So I said Spawn.
Okay.
But I dug in the crates and I said Jim Kelly.
Ooh.
Holy hell. Wow.
I can see
Yeah.
Wow.
No, see, you understand this assignment. Do not think for a second you don't get it. Because
All
I'm
that
immediately
bullshit.
like, hells yeah.
Humble bragging.
I love that.
Like they did.
I said for Luke Cage, I would have wanted to see, may he rest in peace, Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always good.
Um,
Yeah.
That would have worked so much better. Used him as Kingpin, which was a really good Kingpin.
Yes,
For
he
that
was good at
Daredevil movie.
Kingpin.
I mean, that was probably the best part of that movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, by a mile.
And so
For
and so
real.
I think that would be the only conflict there is, that was before
Yeah,
they
that's
were able to
true.
do
I
dual
didn't even think
casting.
about that.
But I would much have preferred him to be Luke Cage. I think bringing him in as Luke Cage that could have been a
He's like
standalone
tough
movie.
and soft, and he can be funny and like,
Oh yeah,
and he's so big.
that looks like the Bulletproof Man. Like absolutely.
His dad would have been way better.
His dad.
His dad.
Oh.
It would have had some flavor. Okay. So for Green Lantern,
Sidney Poitier.
I'm second guessing this one. I said Michael Beach because I don't think he gets enough work, and B, I think that he would have been a great Green Lantern. His build and like just the way he carries himself, I think he would have been really good at. I wish they would have maybe done that.
Do you think he didn't get as much work because people just see him as like the guy who
from
fucked Cousin Faith?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say the bad guy.
He is the dude who slept with Cousin Faith, and it's sad. It is.
Fuck his whole black career up.
Yeah, I think that would actually work out.
I said
a great actor.
Vixen. And I cast Gina Torres because I cast her in everything, and she needs to be in something.
Ooh, that's my Ancora.
She should have been a superhero. It is a friggin' tragedy. That woman was made to be a superhero. And I just think she would have been a great Vixen.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
I like it.
Nah, these is good picks. I like these picks because it shows like what Hollywood like fucks up on and doesn't do well. Like even when I was going through and I was trying to find an actor to play like Israel, like try to play Static, I'm like, they don't have a lot of like roles for like teenage black boys, or they all like half black, light skin, curly hair, like homeboy from High School Musical. And it's just like that's the typecast that is for like black boys. And as an
aside
like
for that, I have an honorable mention, and it's Miles Morales, and I want Miles from Blackish to play him.
Yeah,
are we talking about light skin, curly hair?
He been pushing for that.
He needs to play that role. Like it's almost like they made that role for him.
Now I'm gonna say this: he better work on his Spanish, because if he don't sound right,
we don't know. Maybe he's Dominican. I don't know his background.
Yeah, he's got the look. No, honestly, I do like those picks, and I think you do absolutely understand. Because what I had to do was I picked people from specific like periods and times and ages to fit some of the roles that I had, because it was like this person would have been perfect for that role, and they don't all fit now because, and honestly, that's why I didn't really give RG too much, and I was like, we would have to figure out the story. But even with his casting, if you get a younger version of his character for Static, it's the same thing. Yeah. And so that's why I'm like, yeah, I like that actor, because seeing him in Supercell, a younger version of him, that would absolutely work as a Static. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but since he didn't say that part specifically, I wanted to like leave it open, an option, and cool. I like your honorable mention also. I think that he definitely has that look. And so I think that'll work out really well.
Age out. He's going to age out soon too, because he's already like 19.
Now, some of mine are absolutely aged out. So I'm having to do like a Vanessa Williams for 3 of them. So see, I said you are safe this time because I opened it up and made it wide open. You good. Okay. And I like your picks. But we do have some similar character features. I started off, gotta have Icon. It's a missed opportunity that we haven't had Icon up to this point. And this is where I'm casting Dennis Haysbert as Icon. And I want the character when he was, I want Serrano when he was in Major League. I want that Dennis Haysbert.
Wow.
At that time,
Jobu.
He's big enough, he's imposing, he's got the voice, and I definitely think he fits as Icon.
He was
and a
in that
younger
movie.
Dennis
My
Haysbert.
goodness.
I think that would have been perfect. That was something that definitely a missed opportunity. Since I have Icon, I wanted Rocket. It almost works in the same time scale, but this is where I actually grabbed Megan Good. I think a younger Megan Good she's got like that. She's the right size, the right look. As far as the costume would go, she's, the little thing on the head. I think she would fit right in that range. And when you read the comics, you see that when they first meet Icon, they're trying to break into the house and rob it. When he, of course, like shows these feats of strength and things that he can do, she's the only one that like takes a moment to like see that there's another opportunity. He ends up kind of letting them go. And he's like, if you ever do this again, and then they develop their relationship from there. And so thinking back to like some of Megan Good's early roles, I think that's
by you, Megan.
You know what I'm saying? I think it's perfect for her to fit in that kind of role. So it's something like a missed opportunity, and that's where I would want her. Staying with Milestone, I also cast Static Shock. This one is a current one. I think we can do this right now today. It's already been talked about, so it's not going to be super brand new. But let's get the kid from Stranger Things, Caleb McLaughlin. Go ahead and let him do it while we can do it. I think the character that he's played on Stranger Things, that is a Virgil. And I think that kind of character who's into the video games, into like the, Virgil is a geek basically, who gets superpowers and decides to like be a hero. So he is essentially what Spider-Man is, that type of character arc. And Caleb McLaughlin is still young enough that he can pull it off and still be that high schooler. He might be a senior. It could be leading up to graduation. I get that part, but I think that he's right there at that point where it can still be done and it'll still work. So if we do get a Static Shock movie soon, I think Caleb's got time to do it. I also cast Blue Marvel, but I got to go a few years back. I could almost, and I'd say just a few because I want him at his peak. Just add the gray hair back in, but I want a younger version. I want Michael Jai White for Blue Marvel.
Come on, God damn it, I want to fight you.
I want Michael Jai White for Blue Marvel because I want him to, and this is going to sound crazy, but I really think Michael Jai White is a very underrated actor. And for him to do a lot of what he does, it comes off as comedic, but he does it with such deadpan seriousness that you really believe he believes he's that person. And so when we have to have this, war veteran, super intelligent scientist, but the same person that'll like, put paws on you because he has to, that's like every character that Michael Jai White has done in all of his action movies. So you throw that costume, let him fly off into space, and I think that's a better fit for the talent of a Michael Jai White. I cast Bumblebee. I want to go with a younger Bumblebee, and that's where I put Marseille Martin. I feel like she can headline this movie standalone. If you want to have some of the other characters from Teen Titans that she might interact with, cool. But we've already seen from Little, she can carry the movie. You give her powers, you give it, you know what I'm saying? You make it a comic book thing. It's great because you'll get all the young girls to come to the movie, and she gets to be funny, silly, a kid, but she gets to be a superhero and save the day. And I think that would be perfect for Marseille Martin. So,
and it's a
some missed opportunities
for canceling Moon Girl, The Devil Dinosaur, and canceling Saturdays.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we got some missed opportunities, but we still got some potential to do some stuff. And the funny thing, and I say this is weird with Blue Marvel, I don't think Michael Jai White has aged out of the role for Blue Marvel. I think technically,
I don't think he has.
No, I think technically he could do it now, given the age of the character.
Yeah.
But I would be curious as to how involved with all of the action he could be. You give me that younger Michael Jai White, I know he's all in, no question. He's doing everything, and that's the only reason I would want a younger Michael Jai White. But we also see that as he aged up, he didn't really change much.
Yeah, true.
So it's just like
and the man
you get
can
the
still
younger
move.
version.
Yeah, he's still in amazing shape.
Yeah, he can still
right.
move.
So you get the younger version and just throw the temples back on, and it's going to look the same. So it's possible he could do it right now today. And that's where I was kind of like, but I did have some alternates, but we're good on that. My only honorable mention: go ahead and let Michael B. Jordan do Val Zod, because why are we not going to have a black Superman? So go ahead and let Michael.
Because we don't need one.
We don't, but right now we gonna
get
cast
a good actor.
Go ahead and let it happen.
We just gave a bunch of good reasons why we don't need a black Superman.
I would say too, I had going to Brandy's point about the time traveling fan casting. I always kind of start with like, who is the original person, and I just need to start saying my original person, because usually my original person is like somebody who has aged out. But when I see Rocket, I always think Regina King from 227.
Wow,
like from that era, and I feel like, you know, had this existed, I feel like when I look at Rocket, I'm like, y'all drew Brenda.
Okay.
Very much so. Yeah.
Oh,
and
like
actually
that.
the same little bob coming out the top of
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right. And that's kind of what that's, you know what, it's along those same lines of
like
thinking.
that.
And I was trying to think of like when the character came out, when the character was long, because like Icon came out in 93. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you take these people at that time, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I was like, oh yeah. So at that time, who was like the big tall black? Oh, Dennis Haysbert. And to me, that's like, it's right there. You know what I'm saying? And granted, there's other people, of course, and it's like sometimes when you get into like the real fantasy casting, people who they just have the look and nothing else. I don't know about their acting capabilities and things like that, because for years, very interesting pick, but for years I always thought we were going to get, there was a wrestler who was going to be ideal for Wolverine, and he was Canadian.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a very controversial pick to say, but at one point it was like going to be the perfect pick, and
it was perfect.
We never saw that. So there's a lot of times. Yeah. And it was, it's a very unfortunate situation there. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be times where when we get to talking about these characters, because I've always wondered like what Wesley Snipes would have done with Black Panther. He ended up being Blade, but I think there was a lot of conversation that he was the one trying to bring Black Panther to the forefront. Yep.
Nope. Just give me a sec. I'll be back.
Okay. Like he was one of the people that was trying to bring Black Panther to the forefront, and one of the people they had in mind, and they ended up going Blade, and it worked, and Blade was fantastic. And I think that, you know, there's no question that we would not have the MCU had it not been for the success of Blade.
Oh, what
And
up,
so, there's a lot of other characters who exist, and I think when we see some of the casting, sometimes there are different things that I don't think get considered enough because, John Stewart. There's a lot of people who could have been John Stewart, and I have to say I like Michael Beach as John Stewart over Mufasa.
Rebel Ridge.
It's
Nino
just
Kelly.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where it's like you have to trust the process sometimes, but there are other situations where I think better casting does exist, and for whatever reason, they have a plan, and gotta wait and see what they do. Did anybody, RG? Did you have any honorable mentions that you thought about and decided against that you feel like need to be considered?
I will put a bid in. I went. Who was it? Brandy? Did you have you had a Vixen?
No, Gina Torres.
Yes, Gina Torres. Well, I can't disagree with that pick. That's a great pick. I had Janelle Monáe as Vixen. I would like to see, for one, she's got the chops to play her off as a femme fatale. I really see Janelle being able to play a femme fatale that's not slutty. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't exude. It's seductive because she knows how to talk to. She knows how to move. Right. I think she would be.
I still just automatically put Janelle Monáe in Far Sector as a Green Lantern. The Green Lantern they designed after Janelle Monáe. Just let her be that character since that's the inspiration for that character. Let her do that. But I can see where you're going
playing
with
something. That's for sure. I think I think she could be a good Vixen. I do, because I feel like she could be very feline, in her.
If you've looked at any of her Halloween costumes, she loved the idea of dress up.
Yeah.
She's a theater kid, so
I was about to say. So if you put her in a situation where she touches a necklace and maybe starts to exhibit some of those features, she's all in. Like when she uses the leopard powers, give her claws and change her face.
Right.
Boom. That's exactly what you're gonna get from her.
Yeah, she's very capable of doing my version of Vixen that I always imagine is the one from the Justice League cartoon, the animated series. So it's that Vixen and Janelle
Jr.
Yeah, and I think that she could pull that off. You know what I'm saying? But Vixen was very powerful. Like, you know what I'm saying? She still looked respectable, but somehow she was seducing you or something. You know, because like Brandy, good analogy. Very feline. Very feline. She could move very feline. Yeah.
I like that. Well, I think that we have once again created some fantastic movies. Some movies that I would definitely want to watch because
makes me kind of sad, actually.
Whatever I was about to say, because whatever version of X-Men was going to have Angela Bassett was probably going to be the best one ever.
Yeah, she should have been Storm. Like, literally, come on. Like, we really thought that from the beginning. Yes, like that shit.
When I saw her in Black Panther and she had like the white hair, and I was like, that was intentional.
Yeah, yeah. And even now, like, even at the time they did the first one and they cast Halle Berry, you still could have put her in at that time, and I think it would have worked for the character then.
Yeah,
already
because they were more mature X-Men at that time.
Right. But nonetheless, some things have those opportunities have passed. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, click the notification bell, of course, because that is how you will know whenever we post new content. I want to thank you for having watched this episode. We are GrownAGeeks, and we are out of here.